Welcome to Speaking of Love, the podcast, with your host, Latoya. This podcast was created as a platform for spreading love. Hey, podcast family. Are you ready for the next episode of Speaking of Love? If so, join me this Saturday at 12 o'clock noon as I sit down for a candid interview with lifelong Detroit native Lee Shelby. Lee is a business owner and the mastermind behind his company called Really Nice Homes. Lee has a passion for improving homes in the city of Detroit. His amazing work is highly sought after as he loves working with both new and long-standing clients. As a man of many gifts and talents, Lee believes in working hard, and it shows in his incredible work. Please join us this Saturday at 12 o'clock noon on Speaking of Love. This is one interview you don't want to miss. We hope to see you there. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Speaking of Love, the podcast. My name is Latoya, and I am the host of this podcast. Today, I have a guest here by the name of Lee Shelby. Lee Shelby is the owner of Really Nice Homes, and I am so excited to interview him today. Before we get started with our interview, I would like to give an introduction about my podcast. This podcast was created in honor of my father, Herman McAlpin Jr. My father committed suicide on March 2nd of 2020, and as a way of spreading love, I created this podcast in his honor. My father was a radio TV broadcast engineer for many years, and he had a radio show called Speaking of Sports many years ago. So I adopted the philosophy Speaking of Love to honor him. And today I am very excited about my guest. His name is Lee Shelby. He is a lifelong Detroiter. He is known for building homes with love, one brick at a time. So I am so happy to have you here, Lee. Welcome to Speaking of Love.
Thank you. How you doing today, Latoya?
I am so happy to have you here. I wanted to have you
Thanks for
here.
having me.
Yes, I wanted to have you here because you are a man who is very good with his hands. You build homes, but what you also do is you spread love throughout the city of Detroit, and I really admire that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it come with the territory. It's in my bloodline. So yeah, my father, he was one known to be a real people person and spread love and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of innate, and it kind of show through my interactions with a lot of my customers and stuff, and friends and all that. But yeah, definitely with my customers, they end up being friends. So yeah.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit about your early life growing up in Detroit as a young boy. What was life like for you? Did you ever envision having such a huge presence in the city of Detroit?
No, I was just a kid. Yeah, I grew up on the northwest side of Detroit, pretty much like the edge of Detroit, 7 Mile, and I say Lasher. A lot of people like to say Lasser, but yeah, we just growing up saying Lasher. So yeah, I still say that to this day. But yeah, grew up over there, and yeah, it was middle class community I grew up in, and it was diverse. At a certain point in time, it became predominantly black. But yeah, when I was younger, yeah, it was a pretty diverse neighborhood. But yeah, it was real nice, and you had all different type of characters and all that stuff. But that's that I growing up. I used to meddle with everything and take this apart and bother this and put a nail in that. So yeah, it turned me into the person I was. A lot of my neighbors, they kind of seen, the path I was going on. So they would, give me different little tools and all that good old stuff. And I used to be over my great grandparents' house a lot, which they stayed by 7 in Southfield. So they was right down the street. So yeah, I learned a lot over there as well. Yep. So
So tell
I
me
had a
about
great upbringing though.
Tell me about your business, Really Nice Homes. First of all, where did you get the name Really Nice Homes? Which that's obvious, but I just want to know the philosophy behind you naming your business that, and tell me about your business.
I think I got that name just, when people when it's something that they really like, they say, "Oh man, that's real, that's real nice right there." And probably growing up, around elders and all that stuff, that's one of they sayings, "Oh, that's really nice right there." So yeah, I just thought that was a good name, and I wanted, to be something that it was simple, but it wasn't like too, trendy or anything like that. So that was just what I came up with, because and it's so funny to this day. Like just me describing stuff. I saw, that look real nice. So yeah, it's just a coin term that everybody kind of uses and can understand. Yeah, but what was your second question? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So, what kind of services do you provide, and how do people benefit from your business?
Oh man, well, I'm kind of all over the house. I don't do excuse me, I don't do roofing, gutters, I don't lay driveways, anything like that. But far as like common aspects of a house, I pretty much do it all.
You do it all. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, far as people benefiting, I mean, all the work I do every job like it's my last. So, I guess it would be beneficial in that aspect. But, just I just try to, do every job to the best of my ability, and, treat people like I would want them to treat my family. But far as, like the beneficial side, people have a question about anything, or if it's something they want to try to do themselves, or something that may have got messed up, or they dealt with a bad contractor, or you got a hot water tank going out, or anything like that, I'm always there to, to help pick up the pieces, help, correct the if issue, there may be like something that's an emergency or whatnot, I always make sure to take care of my customers. So yeah, that would be the benefit of dealing with me, and I always treat people fair, and so yeah, that definitely would be a benefit of me. I can speak highly on myself when it comes to that, because I just treat people like I would want them to treat me. That's the bottom line.
You know what I admire about you is that you don't use a blueprint, you don't have like a drawings mapped out. Everything that you do comes strictly from within you, like your mindset. You have a vision in your head and you execute that vision in your work. Like where does that gift come from? Like I don't know.
Oh, well, when I was younger, yeah, I always kind of, again, I'll deal with like the things that you won't see in the backdrop, like the electrical, the plumbing, structural issues, all of that good stuff. But my favorite part about working on homes would be like the cosmetic stuff. So, I love doing like bathrooms and kitchens. I do landscaping projects. So yeah, I love the art, and then growing up, I customize shoes, I customize clothes, I cut my own hair, I customize bikes, cars, you name it, like anything, I have always put a twist on it. So yeah, I've always been artistic. Yeah, I still have some of my drawings that my mother saved from when I was a young kid, so I look at them and just kind of, smile a lot of times. So yeah, I always been artistic, but just in saying that, I always been a visionary. So yeah, I can just kind of look at stuff and, know what it would become. Just like the project that I'm working on now, this house is probably, I think it's roughly about like 16 to 1800 square feet. And I'm renovating the whole house, and
By
I work by
yourself.
myself.
By
Yeah,
your
yeah,
yeah.
I work by myself. That's kind of by choice, but at the same time, it's hard to find, people that really work. It's easy to find people that want money, but it's hard to find people that actually want to work and, want to perfect their craft as far as working on houses. Because I take it serious. It's not a game with me. But yeah, as far as blueprints or anything like that, I don't know. I always tell people I'm somewhat auditory, so yeah, I can just look at stuff and vision in my head, and people can tell me what they want, and at the end of it all, they say, "Wow, yeah, this is exactly what I envisioned." So of course, I use measuring tapes and carpenter squares and all that type of stuff, and I calculate a lot of stuff that I do. As far as sitting up and writing up a plan, yeah, that I mean, if I had to absolutely do that, I would, but I would charge people a lot more money because it's not something that I enjoy doing. I don't like sitting down and typing up stuff. I do my due diligence as far as paperwork and all that is concerned because it's required. But as far as the work I do, yeah, no, I can just look at it and I know exactly, you tell me what you want, and, I just create it. So
Now, Lee, you are known, very well known in the city of Detroit. Your work is highly sought after. You have an extensive waiting list for people who need your
mhm.
services. And I know that you're working on homes, but it's deeper than just building homes. You're building legacies for people. I titled this podcast today Building a Legacy of Love, because what you're working on right now in this home is going to eventually become someone's home, a family's home. And in that home, they're going to have moments of love, happiness, and you're building that. What do you love most about what you do in your profession?
Well, that and I appreciate the kind words. But yeah, I just feel like that's something I'm charged with doing. So, you know, uh, the past, I would say, just the past 10 years, I've bought several houses, flipped them. I bought one or two, rent them out, and I one house I had, for example, I had obtained that one. It was one of my friends. She was somewhat in a bind, and so I didn't pay that much money for the house, and it didn't need a whole lot of work. It just needed loose ends tightened up. And coincidentally, my one of my good friends that called me, and told me they was looking for a house or whatnot, or did I know any houses for rent or what have you. And I just told them, hey, I'll sell it to you on land contract, and I made a profit off of it, but of course, they didn't pay what they would, as far as the market rate was at the time. Because I just wanted to see, put them in a better place, and they had kids and all that good stuff. So yeah, I just kind of, sacrificed profit, so to say, to put them in a better situation. A lot of my friends, that have houses or whatnot, they pay cash for them and all that, and we may only do so much cosmetic work to the house, but as far as the electrical, plumbing, any structural issues, they got holes in the roof, anything like that, we address that, and as time go on, uh, we'll do cosmetic stuff, down the line. I kind of explain that to them because, as you know, in Detroit, you can buy a lot of houses for cash. And if you buy it cash, you don't have a mortgage. So you talking about 15 or 30-year mortgage, whether it's fixed or adjustable rate. If you buying a house cash, you're going to save a lot of money. So, just kind of coach people on stuff like that. And, that absolutely changed people's lives. Whereas, they don't have to, be concerned about credit or, anything as far as that's concerned. They can just pay their taxes and continue improving on the home, as they go. So yeah, that's just kind of one of my missions. And, again, I sacrifice time and, money to put people in a better position because I feel as if you can't do that, you kind of worthless, because
Yeah.
the money and all that is gonna come anyway. I'm not concerned about money, that's not a problem, So it's just really about helping people out, and like I said, putting people in a better position at the end of the day when it's all said and done, I just be happy knowing that I did help, change a few people's lives. So
Wow, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Lee,
thank
you've been known to work 7 days a week. Like you don't even give yourself a break. You work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Where does
yeah.
that strength come from? Most people at least take one day for themselves, but you take no days for yourself. Where does that strength come from? Tell me, how did you gain this kind of strength?
Oh, well, one thing, hey, I can attribute it to my mother, and hey, I thank God for her because I always tell people after my father passed, it's a joke, but I guess so people usually laugh at it, but I kind of said, his funeral service, I kind of looked at him, then I looked at her, I looked at him, I looked at her, and I said, hey, I got to change a few things, in my life, so yeah, I started changing stuff and started, watching my diet and all that good stuff, and started taking supplements and doing, doing a little research and watching different people, talk about like all natural supplements and all that stuff, things that's good for the body that replenish the body and all that good stuff. So yeah, I've been on that journey, and I still eat, on the weekends and stuff. Those my cheat days. I kind of eat what I want to, but yeah, just taking care of my body, making sure I get the right rest, not partying. Anybody know me? Shoot, years back, yeah, I used to have me some fun. I still do, but yeah, just try to take care of myself. I said get my rest and I spend my last dollar, the supplements I take because hey, that's what definitely helped me make money. And besides my genetics, I thank God have a pretty good lineage. And I come from a team of hard workers. I always tell people, shoot, I was 5 years old, and my great grandmother had me scrubbing floors because she used to do day work like out in Bloomfield Hills and all that good old stuff. And she used to take my mother with her. So, she used to have me, even though she had washing machines and all that good stuff, she always had a washboard next to her washing machine. I guess just to kind of remind her of, where she came from, or maybe it was certain stuff that she liked, using the wash board for, and she had the ringer, when they didn't have dryers and all that kind of stuff. So, no, I used to be using the manual mower to cut the grass just for fun with dual blades, and so my great grandparents let me do all that stuff, and just being around my house when I was a kid, I always been busy. I never been still. So yeah.
Mm.
And as far as the 7 day thing, I tell people I work 8 days. Yeah, but I just I love what I do. When you love what you do, it's really not like work. If I
Mhm.
can't work, I'll be sad. If it's not a holiday or I'm not going out of town or somebody having some special event or whatnot, I'm working because that's just
Mm.
what I love doing. I'm like a kid when I'm working. So yeah,
Yeah,
that just kind of that explain it. That's how I was raised for one, and yeah, for two, it's just when you doing what you love doing, it's not really like work. So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you in your element when you're working, and you definitely transform into a different person. And I can tell that you really love what you do, and I respect and admire that about you.
Thanks.
Yes, yes. My
Yeah.
next question is, what is the biggest lesson that you have learned about yourself being in this line of work, being in this profession as a home builder, helping people? How what's the biggest lesson that you've learned about Lee Shelby?
Um, I would say probably just I don't know, just the element of taking a chance on yourself and just persevering through anything. When I first started, and it kind of it'll make you have strength, but I always been, I always been one of them people when I make my mind up to do something, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, that's just really what it is. But initially when I started, stuff was somewhat slower, but I had sold my house I stayed in. I sold my family house to start my business. The house I grew up in, I sold it, pulled my 401k, and I took a loan out all at one time because I was that serious.
Mhm.
And I mean, despite whatever it was, I was gonna make it work. But I was already messing around with my house and my friends' houses before I even started working for myself. But you have them days where you might be a little tired, or it may be something I'm doing that I'm not as familiar with. It may be which is extremely rare. A client that you know you guys just didn't necessarily see eye to eye, which again that's extremely rare for me. Thank God, and you just have to deal with people in a certain way. But yeah, just yeah, that's the main thing that I really learned about myself, just to persevere and believe in yourself. Because I mean, if you don't believe in yourself, it's no use in starting. Because again, when you initially start off, they say pretty much every business that gets started, you're gonna have 3 years where you're not really gonna see no profit. So, you gotta be doing it because it's something you love and something you passionate about. Otherwise, it may work, by luck, but it's all hard work, so you got, have that hard work ethic and be diligent and just keep going, and every day is important, and that's why I work 7 days because I'm so busy. But hey, I make it happen. I tell people, hey, I'm gonna get this done or that done, so I get it done. So yeah, that I don't know, it really just proved a lot of stuff that I kind of thought about myself or seen in myself, but I had to actually execute it, and said, okay, yeah, this will work. So, yep, yeah, it's really just, it just showed me, a lot of strength that the beliefs you have in your head, you had to manifest them. So,
Right,
yep,
right.
that's the main thing I've learned.
Wonderful. Well, Lee, speaking of love, the podcast is a show that's all about love. And I brought you here
Yeah.
today because you're building a legacy of love brick by brick with what you do. You do electrical work, you do drywall, you build homes from the bottom all the way to the top. So, my question is, my $1 million question for every guest that I have on Speaking of Love is, how do you define love?
Again, just doing right by people. And that's, within my profession and, outside of it. Just doing right by people. And my mother always called me a street minister. That's what she called me. Just do right by people, tell people sometimes act of love is telling people what they don't want to hear. So sometimes, hey, you have to tell people stuff they don't want to hear because you love them that much. You know what I mean? So, you see somebody on the street or whatever that needs some help them out. I was up at Myers. This was like last year. This one just stick out in my head, but the guy, he was in a grade 4 fusion, and I was at the one on 8 Mile and Woodward. And you got that strip that kind of take you through. It's like the main artery to take you through that whole shopping center. And his car was like right there, and he was standing out there just looking confused. I'm like, what's up with him? So, I circled back around. I said, hey, what's going on, bro? You all right? He like, man, I ran out of gas. I don't have no money and this and that. And, I'm like, okay. And I so happened to have a gas can. I said, I'll be right back. So I went and got on some gas and stuff. There was only a couple gallons in that can, probably like 2 gallons or something, but it got it started. And I gave him some money, and he like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, and God gonna bless you. And I told him, shoot, I'm already blessed, but at the same time, I told him he gotta, just watch how he moves. I said, man, you can't be out here, you don't have no money, you don't got no gas, so I looked out for him and did a good deed, but at the same time, as me being a older man, I told him, man, you gotta, just watch how you moving out here. You gotta do better, man. So I gave him the money, and told him just, you gotta work on yourself and just get better, because it ain't no way you should be up here stranded in the car and you don't have no money, and it's kind of like, and if nobody come along to help you, then you kind of got an issue. So it's like a two-sided coin with me. I show people love and do right by people, but at the same time, I tell people them hard truths, and they might
Mhm.
not like me at the time, but they appreciate me down the line, because somebody gotta tell you that if somebody really love you, they'll tell you stuff you don't want to hear, because it make you better. And that
Right.
it was the same for me. That's what my mother, my father, shoot, my grandparents, that's what they did with me. It was hard love, but that's what turned me into the person I am today. So yep, I give it on both sides.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love
Yeah,
it. I love it. And
thank you.
speaking of an act of love, Lee Shelby, last Monday was the anniversary of my father's suicidal passing, and you donated something to me for my podcast, and I truly, truly love it. It's the photograph that you all see behind me. It's hand painted by someone that Lee knows, and Lee took a picture of me and my dad, and he had this beautiful hand painted portrait made, and I have just been so much in love with this photo. It looks exactly like my dad. Like it looks like he was brought back to life. And Lee, I want to say
Yeah.
that's one of the sweetest, loving, kindest things that anyone has ever done for me. And I love the
Mhm.
photograph. And you gave it to me on the anniversary of my father's suicidal passing. And I just want to publicly thank you for doing that for me.
Oh, you absolutely welcome. You just such an outstanding person. And I mean, that was just such a tragic event. Uh, I just I'm just looking at your podcast and knowing you and the person that you are. I mean, every accolade you have is just something based off of, you doing right by others or showing other people love. And just for something like that to happen, just so unforeseen. And I know you had a great relationship with your father. So I just said, man, what can I do to something really nice for her? See, there go that really nice again. I told you, a really nice house. And I say it all the time. It's so funny. But I just thought that would just be a wonderful gesture. So I reached out to my friend, to my bro. I've been knowing him since we was little kids. JR, that's what we call him, JR, but his name is Jannar Robinson. But yeah, he does excellent work. And yeah, that picture is, I mean, when he gave it to, I said, wow, this is just outstanding. I've admired his work for so many years, but just to see a photograph, that I gave him, come to life like that. Yeah, that was just outstanding. And yeah, I just felt like it just to commemorate that day, it kind of changed the meaning of, making it somewhat neutral because it was just, so tragic. So yeah, I'm just happy, that you love it. And yeah, it was well deserved, so yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it.
Well, thank you. Yes, I more than enjoy it. I love it, and I will definitely cherish it forever. And what you didn't know was that this photograph was taken on my 40th birthday. I went over my dad's house to
Wow.
visit him on my 40th birthday, and
Wow.
we were just sitting in his living room talking and having a good time. And I said, I want to take a selfie with you. And he was like, okay, okay, but you're going to have to
Yeah.
move, get close to me. Because my dad was a professional photographer. So he would always get very close to the person in the picture with them to make it look more intimate. So I mean, the picture is just beautiful. So I truly, truly thank you
Yeah.
for it. Just
Oh
looking at it,
yeah.
brings back the memories of my birthday and us being together. So thank you.
Yeah.
So Lee,
Yeah.
what's next for you? You build homes, you're building dreams, you're building legacies of love, and you're running electrical lines, and you're tearing out ceilings and building drywall. I mean, you just putting in bathroom sinks and tubs and toilets, and you are the man. And what's next for
Um,
you? What do you have going on next?
um, pretty much the same. Far as like aspirations for me, it would just be to acquire more property. And to help other people acquire property. That's one of my passions. People always talk about Detroit being gentrified and different ethnicities and races coming to buy up houses and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, we gotta look in the mirror. We've had the opportunity to buy these houses for so long, and you still got something that's sitting, but the market is changing. You can't really buy a house for like $1,000, unless you're gonna put some real work into it. The house I'm in now, it probably is like $1,000, but it requires some significant work, so yeah, just helping people out in that aspect, and trying to educate people, because that's something else that I'm kind of passionate about, educating people as far as buying homes, and how you can benefit from paying cash for a home, or you may find one on land contract, of you don't want to completely put it together, but yeah, just helping people out in that aspect, and creating generational wealth for myself, and my family, and showing other people how to do it. Because
Yeah.
there's plenty of opportunity out here. So, anybody, a lot of my friends, they might want to get into real estate, or even a stranger, anybody can reach out to me. I have a little knowledge as far as, the home buying process is, of flipping houses, renting them, what have you. So, yeah, anybody, need help, in any of those lanes, I'm always here. I can be reached on, my Facebook page. That's pretty much all I have on social media, because I'm too busy working. Yeah, I don't have time for any other ones. But yeah, just yep, that's it. Just to keep doing what I'm doing, and just try to acquire more properties, and make the next generation of my family greater than what mine's is.
Wonderful. That is so wonderful. So,
Yeah.
Lee, I'm going to let you get back to work because I know you have that house that you're in right now and it needs your loving touch. But
Hey.
before you go, I do have one last question for you. When the pages of your life are reviewed, what do you most want to be remembered for? What legacy are you leaving behind?
Just again, I probably just tying into the last question, just trying to help people, ensure that the next generation of their family is greater than what it is, especially being a black man, I'm just not one. My family and people always just kind of raised me like, okay, well, hey, I did this, now this your baton, so you taking and run with it. So yeah, I'm just running the strongest race I can, and helping people out, as I go, so yeah,
Aww.
that's what it's about. 'Cause you got to help people. If you don't help nobody else, to me, you really don't serve no purpose. So yeah, just making more opportunities, for the people that come behind me, and again, my friends, family or whatnot, even people I don't even know, if it's somebody I can help out, that's kind of what it's about. If you just got knowledge and you sitting on it and not willing to help anybody else, I always say you kind of worthless. And people always, say, oh, well, I gotta do this and I gotta do that, and me. But what they don't realize is the more people you help, shoot, God help you. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
anything I put out, it always come back to me tenfold. So,
Aw,
just
I love it.
yeah, yeah,
That's
just
beautiful.
with my neighbors, whoever it may be, I my block, my neighborhood, my neighbors, family, friends, just trying to help people out, and just make stuff greater. So I hope that's what they would say about me when it's all said and done.
Of course
Yeah.
they would. Of course. You are
Yeah.
amazing. I thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much for
you.
being here, Lee. You're a wonderful
Yeah.
person. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue spreading love brick by brick. Continue building these beautiful homes. And you definitely are on the path of greatness. And I truly, truly, truly admire you and your accomplishments. And I bow to your excellence. Thank you for being
Oh,
here on
thank
my
you. Thank
podcast.
you.
Speaking of, is there anything else you'd like to say before I let you get back to tearing down that ceiling behind you?
Right. No, I just like to thank you for having me on here, as a guest. That was that's pretty cool. Yeah, I enjoy your podcast. So yeah, yep, I appreciate you reaching out, and allowing me the opportunity just to come on here and tell people a little bit more about what I do, and thank you for what you do, because hey, I'm just a reflection of you. You are really a outstanding person, and you do so much for so many. So yeah, we need more people in the world like you. So yeah, I
Oh, thank
commend you for everything that you do.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being here on Speaking of Love, the podcast. If anyone has missed any portion of this recording, you can definitely go back and watch it on replay. It'll also be uploaded to YouTube. We're on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you choose to watch your podcast, you can catch this. And also, tonight at 6 o'clock, I am coming back on for another episode of Speaking of Love. This is my 42nd episode right now. But tonight, I'm going to be recording my 43rd episode. I have a lady from Australia who's coming on to talk about her superpowers as a woman. And right now, it is Saturday night in Australia. It's like the middle of the night. So I'm going to interview her at 6 o'clock p.m. our time, which will be Sunday morning in Australia. So come back tonight at 6 p.m. and catch me if anyone can. It's going to be a good episode. But thank you, Lee Shelby, for being here. And this concludes my 42nd episode of Speaking of Love, the podcast. I will catch you all later. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.